Are you looking to optimize your health? Are you looking to get the best supplements at the lowest price? For high quality supplements and to talk to someone about what supplements are best for you, go to takeyoursupplements.com and one of our fantastic True Health coaches will help you pick out the right supplements for you that are the highest quality and the best price. That's takeyoursupplements.com. takeyoursupplements.com. That's takeyoursupplements.com. Be sure to ask about free shipping and our awesome referral program. Welcome to the Learn True Health podcast. I'm your host, Ashley James. This is episode 195. I'm thrilled to welcome back to the show Dr. Phil Carson. He was in episode 42, and if you haven't listened to that episode already, definitely go to learntruehealth.com and you can search Dr. Phil Carson, or you can type in Get Off Meds. Get Off Your Meds was the topic that we discussed back in episode 42. And Dr. Phil Carson shared so much amazing information. In fact, because of him, I changed a lot of my personal health habits and saw wonderful results, like including fermented foods in my diet. I'm so thrilled to have you back on the show today, Dr. Phil. You have been really busy since we last spoke, since you've last been on the show. You've published a book, you've opened a wellness program at a fantastic clinic, and I'd love to hear all about what you've been up to.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ashley, for having me back on your show today. It's an honor to be with you.
Absolutely. I was really touched by your story and definitely recommend listeners go back and listen to episode 42 for the full story. But could you give us just a little sound bite as to your background and what led you to be this wonderful healer that you are today?
All right. Absolutely. Well, I got out of pharmacy school, finished pharmacy school way back in 1985. Wow, it's hard to believe it was that long ago. But out of pharmacy school, I went straight into a high pressure, high stress job working for a big pharmacy chain. And I wasn't prepared for the stress. I thought pharmacy school was stressful, but wow. When I got a year into working with this company, they made me manager of the store. I found out what stress was all about. And it was literally killing me. And I was suffering from severe gastritis issues, taking several medications, drinking a couple bottles of antacid every day, trying to get relief. Nothing was helping. I was getting some temporary relief, and that was basically it. And so one day I walked in a bookstore and was just looking around, and I saw a book about natural health and natural remedies, natural products, written by a doctor and his nutritionist wife. And so I picked it up, started thumbing through it. I said, this is interesting. And I bought it, took it home, and found a chapter in the book on digestive issues. And started following this doctor's recommendations, and it changed my life. I learned how to heal, correct my digestive issues, learned what some of the underlying causes were other than the stress. It wasn't just stress. It was a medical condition called hypochlorhydria, which is low stomach acid. And I was actually doing what so many other people do that I've learned since. They're taking antacids and acid blockers for a condition that they should be doing the opposite for. And they should be taking some type of acid supplement instead of something that blocks their acid. And so hypochlorhydria was one of my main underlying problems. So when I started supplementing with a natural acid supplement and taking digestive enzymes, taking probiotics, when I say it changed my life, it literally did. I think it saved my life because I was in pretty bad shape, taking 2-3 different medications plus those antacids every day. It was a miserable existence, but thankfully I found the solution, and I don't have that problem anymore. And
Wonderful.
yeah, and that knowledge that I gained and the experience I had with that sparked my interest to learn more because, as I tell people all the time, I didn't learn anything about natural medicine in pharmacy school except for the history of it. Certainly didn't learn the application of it. It was a thing of the past when I went through. And so I started, after applying it to my own life, I started telling patients about natural things and things that they could try. They began to get results. And from there, I just kept learning more and more and ended up uh, developing more of a natural type practice. And that's kind of what led me to where I am today.
I love it. I love that you saw, I know that so many pharmacists become pharmacists because they want to make a difference in people's lives.
Hmm.
But what you were taught in school, you applied to your own health and it wasn't working because
Yeah.
what people commonly do is take, and like you said, an antacid for heartburn. But most of the time, heartburn is not an excess of acid. In fact, I've never heard of someone who's had an excess of acid. It is
Yeah.
most commonly the opposite, the too little acid, and yet MDs are giving people proton pump inhibitors and antacids,
Yep.
and then of course we can self-medicate through being over the counter. It's amazing how
Yep.
much we can play doctor and self-medicate with drugs by going to the pharmacy and buying something over the counter. And I'm so happy that that book fell in your lap and that you started looking for natural remedies because now, for many years, you've been helping people to
Yep.
gain their health naturally. So, tell us about your book. And in episode 42, you shared the most beautiful story where you helped a gentleman while you're still working at the pharmacy. You helped a young
Hmm.
gentleman who was kind of hopeless in his life. You helped him reverse his ADD, and now he is successful. He has a wife and kids,
Yep.
and it was such a beautiful story. It really actually brought tears to my eyes when you told it because you have this ripple effect. You help one young person with major health problems, and 20 years later you meet up with them, and it's because of that one point in time that you were able to help them get their health back that has now affected all their customers, all their family, their children, their grandchildren. You have that ripple
Yeah.
effect. That's what happens when we help someone get their health back. We're not helping just one person, we're helping an entire community. It's so cool what you do. So you wrote this
Yeah.
book, and it's a pretty bold name for a book. I'd love for you to share what what led you to write this book. Was there an aha moment, or has this been a long time coming, or did you have an evening where it hit you? I have to write this book, and the title came to you. Tell us the story about your book.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for quite a few years, people had told me, "Hey, you need to write a book." I was educating people on these things, and they would come to see me, and I would tell them this and that, and things they'd never heard, and nobody else had been telling them that there were answers, there were solutions for their health problems that could make a difference. And quite often people say, "You ought to write a book. You need to write a book," and because it was new information to them. But I really had no desire to do that. And but a few years ago, after the crash of 2009, I lost everything
Hmm.
and locked the door on my dream of building of having that natural pharmacy and a natural online business I was in the process of building at that time. I became a casualty of that downturn in the economy and lost it all. And it was through those dark days of trying to assess all that and how did this happen, why did it happen, and rebuilding and trying to you know get a fresh start. That this book and a lot of the content of the book came to me and out of long walks at night and thinking and praying and meditating and crying out for help. And that's that's where the subtitle basically came from as well, was happy, healthy, and whole. Was a confession or affirmation that I spoke over myself every night as I walked along the country road I live on, and just try and seek help and answers for what I was going through. And the thought of the 7 keys came to me as well. And I decided to, I started teaching that to people, and I decided it was time to put it in a book. And with, inspiration from people I was in a mastermind with, and other authors and friends that encouraged me and inspired me to go ahead and write the book. So one of the gentlemen that was in a mastermind with me helped me a lot in putting the book together. A couple of them did, actually, and they were helping me try to come up with a title, and I was coming up with all these different names, and nothing just seemed to resonate. And one day I was talking to my friend, and I named off a couple of titles, and one of them was "How to Live Until You Die," with an emphasis on live. And he said, "That's it. That's it. That's the title." And I already had the subtitle, "The 7 Keys: Living Happy, Healthy, and Whole," but we needed a title, and that was it. So that's how all that came about. But a lot of what's in the book is my story. It's other people's stories. You talk about the story with that I shared on the previous episode. This book has got a story in every chapter about somebody and that has changed their life and changed their health by natural, holistic means. And so highlighting each of the 7 keys that address body, soul, and spirit.
I love it because you have so much experience for so many years working with people and helping them to navigate, especially those who are on drugs, helping them look at lifestyle, diet, and at times supplementation of
Yeah.
more natural medicine to help them
Hmm.
so that they no longer need those drugs. And that's, we all have the goal to be drug free, right? Or to have the minimum dose and the minimum amount of drugs. I have a friend
Right.
who she added one supplement to her life, and she has 2 drawers of medications and painkillers by her bedside,
Uh,
bedtime drawers. And she added one supplement, and it removed half of the medications that she was on, one drawer.
yeah.
And when you're
Yeah.
deficient in, for example, a trace mineral, or you're deficient in a nutrient, your body will express so many symptoms, and all we need to do is nourish the body, bring the body back into balance. And it's amazing what our body can do when given half a chance to heal itself.
Absolutely.
So you have this wonderful method for healing. Now, when we spoke back in episode 42, you were focusing at the time on working with clients that were more like baby boomers and above. But now
Yeah.
you have this wellness program. Tell us. I would definitely want to talk a bit more about your book and learn some lessons from your book. But tell us about your wellness program and what kind of results you're getting, and maybe you could teach us some of the things that are the fundamentals that you do in your wellness program right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. This Wellness program is a 6-month program that we take people through, and we cover a lot of what I talk about in my book, and primarily nutrition, starting with nutrition and helping people improve that aspect of their life, because so many people are not eating quality foods. They're not eating in the right balance and getting the right balance of protein, carbs, and fat in their daily diets. And so that's one of the things we teach. We always start with nutrition, and because that's the basis. You've got to have the right nutrients, the right nutrition. And when you mentioned deficiencies, and that's the reason why so many people have deficiencies, nutrient deficiencies is because they don't eat nutrient-rich foods or enough nutrient-rich foods. And so that's where we start. Um, and then we also back that up, follow that up rather with detox. We go right into a detox program and start helping them to cleanse the body of all the toxins and chemicals that they've been exposed to over the years, and also helping to balance out the body's pH. Get them in more of an alkaline state instead of an acidic or acidosis state that most people are in, primarily because of the foods that we eat, as well as the toxins that we ingest and breathe in and apply to our skin. So that's a really big part of the wellness program and what we do. And we add in exercise and hormone balance, nervous system balance as well. And what we are seeing is amazing. It's amazing results when people plug in to this program and start doing it. The people that need to lose weight are losing weight so easily. And it's fun to me to see a person come back in a month later after they've been on the program and see their whole demeanor, their expression on their face. I told my partner the other day, Dr. Washington, about one of the patients that came in. She didn't see her that day, but I saw her. I said she was glowing. And to see somebody go from looking just, downtrodden and feeling awful, and they'll come in with a big smile on their face and just glowing, that's encouraging. And and for people to be saying, hey, I'm having to reduce my medication. My blood pressure is dropping too low. I've got to cut this. The medication's got to be cut back. I love to hear those kind of stories. I want to hear that all the time. And that's one of the great benefits of this, and one of the great purposes of this program is to help people reduce that medication load, like the friend you were talking about. And so many people are on way too many medications. And I actually spoke at a conference in San Francisco last weekend, and the title of my talk was "We Don't Need Another Drug."
Mm-hmm.
And so many people, that's what they do when they're sick or they have some kind of problem. That's what they've been basically programmed to do, is to go ask for that drug instead of asking for a supplement, or instead of asking, what can I do so that I don't have to take a drug? A lot of people want the quick fix, the easy way out, and the drugs provide that, unfortunately. And we've got a drug crisis in our country, especially with narcotics, and it's really bad in the southeast part of the country where I live here. It's an epidemic, and I love spreading that message that we don't need another drug, and that there are alternatives. There are things that people can do. And the number one is what we're teaching in our program and what I teach in my book, and it's lifestyle change. Sometimes just some basic things, simple lifestyle changes can change a person's life and help them avoid going on medication, or either reduce it, or possibly, hopefully, get off of it totally if they're already on something.
I love
Yeah.
that your focus is helping someone get so healthy that they're symptom free and they no longer need medication.
Yeah.
What kind of people come to your wellness program? Are they so sick, like they, kind of come in on crutches and leave dancing? Like, how is it people that just want to just get healthy and maybe get off one or two meds, or are people who like cancer and fibromyalgia and Lyme disease? Are you dealing with some really heavy hitters, or is it kind of
Mhm.
just a spectrum of people?
It is a spectrum of people, but some of them are, really suffering. They're having some major issues. One patient in particular had fibromyalgia issues for years, which has led to multiple other health problems on a ton of medications. And uh, I just saw her a couple of days ago, and I was amazed at the difference in her and the glow that I see in her face now. And she's telling me she's sleeping better than she's ever slept or slept in years, and that she's feeling more like herself, and that she hasn't felt that way in years. And you know, she was dealing with some major toxicity issues as well
Mm-hmm.
that we had to address. That was part of the underlying cause of her problem. But we've got a variety of different age people coming with a variety of different health issues. We're working with several Hashimoto's cases with women with thyroid issues that just have not been able to get it under control and find the right kind of help out there to address that problem and address the underlying causes of Hashimoto's. They're just being medicated.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's looking at, well, why do you have Hashimoto's? What's going on with your immune system? What can we do to balance your immune system and restore things? They're just writing a script and saying, here, take this thyroid medication and let's see if it'll help.
Mm-hmm.
That's not working. And but let me tell you this, Ashley, this is just blesses me and it blows my mind at the same time. Talking about the variety of people we have in this program. Um, we It's open to anybody, any age. As far as adults, we're not working with children in this program, but we have a variety of ages from people from 40 all the way up to the couple that came to check the program out several months ago. And when they came in, I said, this, I just don't know that they're going to be a fit for this program. But I'm going to tell them all about it anyway, and I'm going to lay it all out for them and say, here's what we have, and we'll just see. But I had didn't have any high hopes at all that they would even want to go through the program after they heard what I was involved in it. But to my surprise, they did. They said, yes, we want to do this. We want to be healthier. We want to be better than what we are right now. He's 84 and she's 83.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And they are doing fantastic. And it just blows my mind. I love it. And so, people think, well, I'm too old, or, I'm already in my 80s. I'm on my way out. Not this couple. They're in their 80s and they want to be as vibrant and as healthy as they can be for whatever number of years they have left.
They want to live
And
until
that
they die.
they want to live until they die. Exactly right. You got it. You stole
It's
my line.
it's so funny. Yeah, no kidding, because a lot of people aren't living. I mean, fully alive. And
That's right.
it might even sound like a cliche, but really, like, to fully be alive, we realize, you know what, we've got a certain amount of time on this wonderful planet, and let's, if you're in a job you don't like, why? Like, yes, I get it, golden handcuffs. I've been there.
Hmm.
But if you're not filled with joy, 24 hours a day, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
If you're not in a relationship that is supportive and loving, I mean, I'm not saying get rid of the relationship. I'm saying there's things you can do to take ownership and heal it, and work with that partner to make it better. Can you turn to your partner and go, "Are you happy? No, I'm not happy. Let's work on this together." Why are we in this vicious cycle of attacking each other or fighting or doing power plays or being passive aggressive? What is up with that? Or just going through the motions. A lot of couples end up feeling like roommates, especially if you have a
Hmm.
bunch of kids and you're both working jobs, and you just kind of pass like two ships in the night. looking at each aspect of your life. Look at your relationship, look at your friendships, look at your family, look at your job, look at your spirituality, look at your health, look at your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health, and go, is this a 10 out of 10? And
Yeah.
whatever's not a 10 out of 10, like take some time to focus on it. And sometimes it takes getting a great coach like Dr. Phil Carson, or figuring out who you want to learn from
Yeah.
to enhance that area of your life. Because and there's tons of free information out there, and there's tons of great books and tons of great programs, but it's up to the individual to go, you know what, I'm not going to wait until I'm 84 to go join Dr. Phil Carson's wellness program like that couple did. I'm going to jump into life and start seeking answers. And sometimes it takes years, but just the fact
Yeah.
that you take action to improve an area of your life means you're not just sitting here not living. I want every single listener to be able to answer this question at the end of the day when the head hits the pillow. Did you live your life? Are you living at 100%? It doesn't mean that every
Yeah.
day has to be amazing. We all have challenges, but did you feel like you're really getting your life? Like, are you really squeezing life out of your life? And if you're not, then tomorrow's a great opportunity to start doing that. And every day. And sometimes it takes making some hard choices, and things like cutting out dairy or cutting out gluten if that's what's going to be your health resolve, or doing detox programs. It's not. I never said it's easy, but you look back 6 months from now and you go, "Wow, I feel amazing. I'm really glad. I feel like I'm getting more life out of my life. I'm so glad I did that." And when we're medicated, there's so many side effects. I've had several people on the show that
Oh
talked
yeah.
about being on ADD medication and different medications for emotional issues, and they said, it made me feel numb and gave me so many symptoms, like made me not like have proper sleep, made me had
Hmm.
nightmares, and
Hmm.
and I felt like I was just drifting through life. I didn't feel like I was living. Whenever we're taking one of those medications, and I think medication has its purpose. If someone's going to be suicidal, I'd rather them be on medication and not die, right? I want them to be stable. But so much of the time you go to a doctor, you say I'm anxious or I'm depressed, or I'm not feeling, I can't sleep, or whatever the symptom is. And the doctor doesn't go, well, let's talk about it. Like, what's going on in your relationship? What's going on in your, what are you doing to nourish your body? And the doctor doesn't sit there and ask you all about the different aspects of your life. The doctor goes, oh, I've got a great pill for that.
Hmm. Yeah.
And there's something hugely wrong with our healing system. It's no longer a healing system. It's not a health care, it's a disease management system.
Yeah. Sick care is what I call it.
Sick
We
care.
we don't have a health care system. We have a sick care system.
Exactly. What in your book would you like to teach us today about how to start living our life fully?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the like I say, the place we always start is with nutrition. And people need to make the right choices there, and we've seen that in this wellness program with people making those right choices, and what a difference it makes.
Hmm.
Uh, but one of the things too is that kind of what we've been talking about here about living and living, really living until we die, and enjoying life, experiencing life, and being making a difference in life. And to me, that's what life is all about. I have a quote in my book from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says that the purpose of life is not to be happy; it is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, and to have it make a difference, some difference that you have lived and lived well. And when we have that attitude toward life, we can live a happier, extraordinary life. If our life is about making a difference for others, making a difference for ourselves, but making a difference for our family, for others that we encounter as well. And I love that saying, and that's what um, our program is all about, is that we're making a difference and we're empowering those people to make a difference as well. And that's what I tell them when I talk to them and I introduce this program to them. That hey, there are people that are counting on you. There are people that look to you, and you may not feel needed, or you may not feel like you're making a difference, but you are. And there's some family member, some friend, somebody that is counting on you and needs you to be around for them. And I talk about the why, and my why, and why I take care of myself, why I do what I do, because I've got a lot of whys. I've got a beautiful wife, I've got 5 children, and now I've got a beautiful granddaughter. Those are my whys. I want to be around to enjoy life with them and be there for them as long as I possibly can, and do it in with a quality of life where I can enjoy all those things. And I tell people that all the time as well. We don't know how many years we're going to be blessed with on this earth, but I want them to be quality years. I want my years to be quality years. And if I want the best quality of life that I can have, then it's up to me. I've got to make the right choices. I got to make the right decisions about my health and how to take care of myself. And I share that with people and encourage people in that way that, hey, you can do the same thing. And there's people counting on you. You've got a good reason to do it. So why not do it?
Wonderful. In terms of nutrition, can you tell us, do you put everyone on the same diet when it comes to the detox? Um, do you kind of go from individual to individual, or is there like a blanket diet that really helps people to clean up the inflammation and start to nourish their body?
Yeah, yeah. Well, we individualize things for people in the program, but there is a basic plan that we have everybody to plug into when it comes to nutrition, and that's what I call balanced nutrition. Regardless of what types of foods you can or cannot eat, based upon what allergies or sensitivities or likes that you may have, everybody can do balance. Everybody can eat balance, no matter what the situation is, and that balance is getting a good balance of protein, fat, and carbs every time you eat, every meal, and every snack. And so that's the basis of what we teach. If you want to say there's a blanket program, that would be it. But within that balance, we work with people individually, because we have people that maybe are gluten sensitive, they can't have gluten, or they're dairy sensitive, they can't have dairy. And we offer them alternatives. And we tell you, hey, if you can't do dairy, maybe you can do almond milk. And there's alternatives pretty much for all of these foods that people may have sensitivities to. So it's an individual thing pretty much with most people. And I have a new person that just joined the program. They have iodine sensitivities. They're very, very sensitive to iodine, so they have to be careful with iodine-rich foods. And so it's different with everybody. But the basic plan, everybody needs to follow with that balance and getting that right balance of nutrients, what we call the macronutrients, every time they eat.
What kind of tests do you do to determine what sensitivities people have?
We work with a couple of different labs that do those types of testing. There's one called Diagnostics that's out in the state of Washington, and then there's another lab called Great Plains Laboratories in Kansas that do a wonderful job of testing for all kinds of food allergies, food sensitivities, as well as toxicities. Diagnostics is one of the premier labs for testing for hormone imbalance. and doing adrenal testing. We That's something we do with everybody because of the stress in people's lives, is do the adrenal testing. But with the food sensitivities, food allergies, both of those labs have some great tests to help determine what a person's sensitivities or allergies, particular allergies, may be.
Very cool. Th- so they're basically you have them go through some tests so that they can determine what their body is reacting to, and also you look at their hormone
Hmm.
balance.
Hmm.
Now, what does a detox program look like? For obviously, for those who would love to come see you, they can come to your clinic in person. Where is your clinic, by
Hmm.
the way?
We are in the Tupelo, Mississippi area, Northeast Mississippi. We're right outside of Tupelo, which is the birthplace of Elvis Presley, most famous individual that's lived during our lifetime. My birthplace as well, and but small, American town, small community, and this area where we live here is an area that really needs what we're doing,
Mm.
and it's not being provided. We're the only type provider like this in our area right now, and it's exciting to see what's happening and see the growth potential that we have for what we're doing. But here in the deep South, where I live, we're number one in the nation for obesity and
Mm.
diabetes. So these are some problems that we are addressing here and helping people with. But we do, a lot of online work as well. I work with people all over the country online, and a lot of what we do can be done online and through the mail. A person has a local physician that they can work with on certain things. We can do things long distance, and we do that. I've been doing that for some time now. But with the detox, it is something that can be done. We do it here locally, but it can be done remotely as well, or long distance as well. All we have to do is ship out the products, the kits that they need for doing that. But the type of detox that we do is not like your typical detox plans that you see out there, where you take a handful of products for 2 weeks or for 21 days or for 30 days or whatever. You can't properly detox in that short period of time. You can cleanse some things out of the body. Maybe you can do a colon cleanse, you can do a slight liver cleanse. But our program is designed to be done over a period of 3 months, and it's what's called a cellular detox, where you're actually cleansing the cells of the body, not a particular system or organ of the body. And it also helps in restoring or balancing out our body's pH as well, because so many people are dealing with a condition called acidosis, where their bodies are too acidic, and that's leading to a lot of health issues that you're dealing with. It is the underlying cause of a lot of people's health problems. And so when you correct acidosis, get the pH back in the right balance, it can make a world of difference in a person's overall health.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, are there 12 different buffers of the body in terms of different systems of the body that play the role of balancing or bringing the body back into homeostasis?
Hmm.
I know there's sweating, breathing.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
there's the need for minerals, because isn't calcium a major nutrient the body uses to bring down acid in the body?
absolutely. And this is something that we teach in our program. Is one of the reasons why people are dealing with certain conditions like osteoporosis or bone loss, muscle weakness, because the body's natural defense mechanisms are to keep the body, particularly the blood, alkaline. Because if the blood becomes acidic, we're going to be in a hole somewhere, covered up.
I was gonna say
Uh,
we're not gonna be here. We're gonna be we're gonna be very dead.
yeah, that's right. And so you can't have acidic blood. It's got to stay at the proper alkaline pH. So the natural defense mechanisms of the body, these buffer systems you're talking about, are to working constantly to keep that under control. Well, when we're constantly putting acids in our body, or like acidic foods, acidic drinks, and we are being exposed to these highly acidic chemicals on a regular basis, yeah, the body's working hard to keep that pH balance. And so the best place for the body to get the alkaline minerals that it needs to keep that pH correct is from the bones and the cartilage.
Hmm.
And that's one of the things that's contributing to, as I said, osteoporosis, osteopenia, joint issues, arthritis, those kind of things where you have a deterioration of the bone and the cartilage. And so that's what's happening. And with a lot of people, and that underlying cause there is another thing that's not being addressed by traditional medicine, and so it makes a difference.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, if someone is malnourished in a first world country, because we're eating
Mm-hmm.
this the SAD diet, the standard American diet, which is
Yep.
not filled with nutrients, but then it also causes the body to need to kind of go into overtime to keep everything alkaline, to keep the blood alkaline, I should say. Your body's going to end up leaning on its calcium stores in your bones to neutralize the acid, and then you end up with osteoporosis or osteopenia or arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a way to reverse it. I've actually seen people reverse arthritis with healthy diet and supplementation. So I've seen it work.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you can do some myth busting though, because I think there's a lot of misconception when it comes to this idea of eating an alkaline diet and drinking alkaline water. They end up like you had hypochlorhydria. Did I say that
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So you,
right.
you had
Hypochlorite.
low stomach acid, right, when it's supposed to be high. So there are certain parts of the body which need acidity, and there's certain parts of the body which should be neutral, and some other fluids in the body should be, or systems of the body should be slightly alkaline. And so the stomach, people think I need to drink alkaline water, I need to eat, alkalizing foods. And some people think they need to like consume baking soda, and they end up causing the stomach acid to be too weak,
Mm-hmm.
which disrupts their digestion. So maybe you can clarify for people. It's not that stomach acid's bad. In fact, you want strong stomach acid. It's that maybe you can clarify, how do we really support the body so that it can easily maintain an alkaline blood without having to use up the nutrient reserves in our bones, and without having to put a lot of stress on the body.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the diet is a large part of it, and not loading our bodies up with too much of any type of food, whether it be too acidic, too alkaline, or whatever, is getting the right balance. We need, there's certain foods that are acidic. Yeah, they're good. We need to eat them. They're nutritious. There are more foods that are alkaline, and we need to be eating a sufficient amount of those as well. And those are the ones that most people don't eat enough of, especially kids this day and time. And that's your green foods, your colorful foods, the greens, the reds, the oranges, all of these fall colors, so to speak, that we need to be eating. They're rich in flavonoids and phenols and all of these what are called phytochemicals that do so much for our bodies and provide so much health benefit and help in prevention of disease and those kind of things. But people are not eating enough of those foods, and we're not consuming the drink either that is the best thing for us to drink, as opposed to the juices and the sodas and the things out there that people drink that are so highly acidic,
Mm-hmm.
and that's water. We don't consume enough water. So, and it needs to be uh, neutral or alkaline water, not the highly acidic waters
What is highly acidic water?
as
Is that
well.
tap water? So is processed treated water with the like city water with chemicals, is that acidic? Like what where would we find
It,
acidic water, and where would we naturally find a more neutral or alkaline water? Because, we have to
yeah,
drink water every day. In fact, on your interview, episode 42, you
hmm
challenged all the listeners to drink half their body weight in ounces of pure spring water each day. And
yeah,
you said that this will eliminate chronic pain.
it will, and it can. Yeah, and there's actually a story of a patient in my book where that happened. But yeah, as far as the alkaline water, most tap water is going to be alkaline. Most, from what I've read in some of the studies and the research has been done testing all these different waters, most tap water is around 7.5 to 8, which is alkaline pH, and all of your spring water is going to be or should be alkaline, your natural spring waters, because most of those are mineral rich as well. They're going to have the calcium and the magnesium and those kind of things in there that are alkaline minerals. And then of course there are alkaline water machines that produce alkaline water, but the acidic waters, where those come from, is your bottled purified waters. And
Really?
those, yes, and those have been tested by numerous people. And you can find this on the internet with people that are testing these waters and performing these diagnostic or tests on pH tests on waters. And you'll see that, and I've had someone to demonstrate it to me personally in my office with a pH meter and show the pH testing of these bottled purified waters that so many people drink, that are put out by Coca-Cola Company and by
Mm.
Pepsi-Cola and Nestle, and these waters that are basically they're purified wastewater is what they are,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
gross.
they're acidic.
Now,
Um,
maybe just clarify something for me. I hate to play the devil's advocate, but I'm curious about this one point that our stomach acid when we're eating is supposed to be highly acidic. So why
yes.
is drinking water that's acidic bad for us?
Well, the acidic waters, and as well as with excessive amounts of acidic food, it can raise the body. I mean, can lower the body's pH to a certain extent. Um, Now, when you talk about water for the stomach, I recommend that people drink water before they eat and drink very little water while they're eating.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we drink a little bit of water before we eat, the water actually stimulates the production of acid by the stomach. And it really doesn't matter what type of water it is to help stimulate that production. It's the hydration, it's the water that's going to do that. But because of the uh, alkaline water is much healthier than acidic water. For the main reason why is because it has those alkaline minerals in there that our body needs. And we're giving our body more of those alkaline minerals, whereas the acidic water doesn't do that. And because of that, I believe it can contribute to raising the acid levels in our bodies because we're not uh, providing it with those natural alkaline minerals that that water should contain.
Right, that makes sense. That, naturally our body's used to. I mean, think about however long we've been here. We're used to
Mhm.
walking up to a stream and drinking from it, and there's going to be,
That's right.
some level of electrolytes and trace elements and minerals which our body needs. In
Yeah.
fact, it's really interesting. Dr. Joel Wallach observed when he was in Africa. He was a veterinarian pathologist who later became a naturopathic
Mhm.
physician, and he observed that the wildlife would drink by these very muddy, I'm sure you've seen it on those nature shows, very muddy, like, and you look at this water and you go, ooh, it's so gross. How do they drink it? And it's just very muddy water. They'll all run up to it, and there all kinds of animals will be around drinking this water. And then he saw water in Africa that was clear, crystal clear, no mud in it, and no
Mhm.
animal would go near it. And he thought, are there parasites? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And the animals knew to drink from the water that had the minerals in it.
Yeah.
And so it makes total sense that the we're used to, so our body's designed to take in all these trace minerals through our food and through our water. And if we're
Yep.
drinking water that's completely void because it's been filtered, void of nutrients, void of trace minerals, that it would throw our body out of balance slowly, right? Every day, slowly whittling away. So instead of whittling away from our mineral supply, we should be building it up. Um,
That's right.
let's talk about diet. Like, if you could say, you're talking to thousands of listeners right now, and I'd love for all of them to walk away with some wonderful actionable steps that they could take to improve their health. What do you like to say as just a general blanket statement for detoxification, for healing the body? What kind of foods should they avoid? What kind of activities should they avoid? Statistically, that you've seen with your years of working with people, and what are just some really healing practices that they could implement? And then also, I definitely want to get into talking about your book and what kind of people should read your book.
Okay. All right. Well, as far as some practices and things that I teach and what people can do that can make a big impact right away, is one of the things that we teach nutrition wise in our program is to eliminate the white foods from your diet. Anything made with processed flour, processed sugar, processed dairy. Those are the three big things there with those white foods. Uh, uh, all of those processed foods are detrimental to our health and are a major contributor to imbalance in our bodies and weight gain uh, and hormone imbalance. They're disrupting our normal physiological function and the homeostasis. All of those things. These white foods, processed white foods, are totally unhealthy for us. And
Mm-hmm.
so I tell people to avoid them, begin to eliminate them as much as they, possibly can. And one of the key things, simple things that people can do that I encourage them to do, other than nutrition, and those are some easy things to do. Uh, your body may rebel if it's been used to eating those things all the time. You're going to have to fight a little bit, but it's something that can be easily done because there's all kinds of other foods to eat that don't contain those things. But physical activity is another thing. We're not active enough. We don't get up and move enough, and that's one of the things that I teach in my book. The simplicity of exercise, of physical activity. It's not as hard as people make it out to be, and we see all of these programs out there and these exercise gurus, so to speak, that are selling these high impact programs that if most people tried to do them, it would kill them probably. And but I tell people, find something you like to do, something you enjoy to do, because a lot of people have the misconception or the mindset that exercise is not fun. But you can do fun things that could be considered exercise or physical activity. And if I tell people, if nothing else, just start out walking. or hiking, just move and do it consistently. And that's the
Mm-hmm.
key, is consistency, and start being more and more consistent. If you are not able to walk very much, take as many steps as you can, and the next day try to take another step, and the next day another step, and keep adding to it and keep being consistent. Before you know it, you'll be walking several miles. And there's a great story in my book about that, and about it's actually about my dad, who has leukemia and lymphoma, that was on his deathbed a few years ago, and now he walks 4 miles a day. And
Oh, I love it. I love it. Did you
uh,
helped your dad reverse his leukemia and lymphoma?
well, he technically still has it. I mean, he still has it, but he's not on his deathbed anymore.
Yeah, well, he's living.
He's living. Yeah.
He must have read your
Yeah.
book.
Yeah, well, family members don't often listen to you. I had preached to him and told him for years things he needed to do, and it was actually somebody that he went to church with. He started going to this new church, and the guy told him, "I got a brother that has lymphoma and or leukemia." He said, "You ought to talk to him and see what he's doing. He's doing fantastic." So of course it was some of the same things I had been telling him to do, but when somebody else told him to do it, and he saw the results this guy had gotten, he started doing it, and of course it changed his life.
Too
But
funny. You know, I've got
yeah,
this app, My Fitness app, or Map My Fitness, that's what it's called. It's the same brand as My Fitness Pal, which I really like that fitness app. But
yeah,
Map My Fitness, I just carry my cell phone on me, or if we have the baby stroller, I pop it in the pocket of the baby stroller, and I turn on that app, and you hit start, and then it tracks your speed,
hmm,
your how many miles. It doesn't track how many steps, but you could get a $10 pedometer for that.
yeah,
And it tracks the miles and the duration, and it also uses GPS to show you the route. And
yeah,
I love it because when I started walking every day, there's this one hill I'd go walk around the block sort of, and there's this one hill I get to, and my back started to hurt, and I really couldn't finish the walk. And I'd be sore the next day. And now, because of, like you said, it's consistency, even if it's 20 minutes. And sometimes if you get a 15-minute walk in the morning, you can do another one at lunch, another one at dinner. It's more about adding it up, right? And do what you can. And uh, no matter what fitness level you are. And if you can't get into the gym and do an hour-long workout, you could probably fit in a 15 minutes in the morning, at your lunch break, and sometime in the evening. And there's your 45 minutes right there. And then you expand upon that. And what I noticed with this app is that my pace is getting faster because it shows your pace. And
hmm,
so even though I might not always be getting my goal is to do 2 miles, but sometimes like I don't have time to do 2 miles. Like right before our interview, I did a 20-minute walk, and I noticed that my
yeah,
pace is getting faster, which is great. So I'm
yeah.
improving. And
That's
so I,
awesome.
I like what you said about consistency. If we can't work super hard and do these giant workouts in the gym, if we just go for a walk, that 5, 10 minute, 30-minute walk, whatever we can fit in, is healthier over time than that 2 or 3 times a week going to the gym. Isn't that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And,
Awesome.
it's being consistent and building on the consistency, and you'll see continual improvement, continual growth and strength and ability, and that's what you want to see.
Mm-hmm. And what can you share about your book in terms of what kind of people should read your book, and what would they learn? Would they have actionable steps that they can take? Is it for people who want to just generally improve their health? Is it people who are already sick? Christmas is a few months away, and I'm always
Hmm.
looking to. It's so funny. My mother-in-law, when she was visiting us recently, we had this big box of books that I'd bought at a garage sale that was a bunch of children's books. I got this huge, pile of books for like $10. And in there
Wow.
was a panini, like a brand new panini book, of course, gluten and cheese. Those are foods I don't eat. And so she said,
Yeah.
you should wrap this up and give it to, my father-in-law, give it to him for Christmas. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I can't even, it just goes against my, I don't know, my persona. It goes against my values to
Yeah.
give someone a cooking book that isn't healthy. So
That's
I'm
right.
looking for these. I guess I'm a little early, but I'm still, it's October. I'm looking for great Christmas or Hanukkah gifts. Um, are there what people in our life would really benefit from your book?
Well, actually, anybody, whether they are having health issues or not, whether they're already living healthy and they want to continue to live healthy, or they want to learn about some new things they can do. At the end of every chapter, I have what's called optimal living action steps,
Mm-hmm.
and they're simple steps that a person can put into action in their life to address all these different issues. And like I said in my book, I don't address just physical issues. The book covers uh, body, soul, and spirit. So a lot of people are dealing with soul problems. I call it soul sickness. They have
Mm.
something going on in their life. They've been wounded emotionally. They've been hurt, and they haven't let go of that, and it's making them physically sick. And so there's one particular person I got a testimony from that was, I mean, she was physically in great shape, but she was emotionally hurt. And
Mm-hmm.
she wrote me and told me that the book had changed her life. And so it's for a variety of people, and there's something in there for almost everybody actually. And but so I would encourage anybody, no matter what type of health problem you may be dealing with, or even if you don't have a health problem and you want to learn to keep living as healthy and having an optimal health, then there's some great ideas and things in there that you can put in action that can help keep you on that path that you're going on.
Oh, very cool. Well, the links to everything that Dr. Phil Carson does is going to be in the show notes of today's podcast. Information about his wellness clinic, and of course his book. Dr. Phil, I would love for you to just right out of your book, could you teach us three optimal living steps that we could begin to implement in our life right now to gain health? And of course, this will be a great teaser for wanting more to go buy your book.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I can do that. As far as one, we've already talked about, and that's cut the white foods out of your diet. Two would be to get up and move more. And one of the optimal living steps that I have in my book is actually teaches people how to do simple chair or desk exercises if they're in an office situation and they're having to sit at a desk all the time, which a lot of people are. And even people that work at home are sitting at a desk a lot of times. So there's optimal health tips and exercises that a person can do that are real simple, real easy, and can be done in a matter of 5 minutes that can make a world of difference. And another one would be having a daily routine. I talk about having that routine where you start your day off right with prayer, meditation, reading, those kind of things that kind of help you get the right mindset for the day, so you don't do like I used to do years ago and rush into the day all stressed out. And by the time I got to the pharmacy, I would be already stressed, and I was going to get more stressed as the day went on. So, getting up early in the morning, having a time of quiet, time of meditation, whatever it is for you, and starting the day off right. That's one of the best the best optimal living tips that a person can put into practice in their life. because it's a great stress manager, and we're dealing with way too much stress in our lives, and people need to recognize that, and sometimes people don't. They don't recognize that, hey, stress is affecting me. Stress is it can be what's making me sick. So
Hmm. That's a
encourage people.
very good point to make. In fact, one of my questions I had for you, you mentioned that in that point of very stressful time in your life is when you developed that
Hmm.
heartburn. Do you feel that it was your combination of, would you think of a stress alone, or do you think maybe it was a combination of stress and also maybe because you were so stressed out, you weren't choosing the healthiest diet that led to heartburn? There's so
Oh
many
yeah.
conditions that
Hmm.
the root cause is stress, because people don't realize that people haven't been taught that emotional stress actually causes physical stress on the body and the hormones, and
Yeah.
robs us of nutrition. Is decreasing stress part of your detox program? And obviously you have steps for that in your book.
Hmm.
What's really important about managing and decreasing stress?
Oh yeah. It is extremely important for our physical health as well as our emotional health, and it can even affect our spiritual health as well. So yeah, managing the stress is extremely important all the way around. And I encourage people to put stress management techniques into practice in their life. And by the way, I'll be happy to provide this as a resource to your listeners. They can go to my website and get it. It's Carson Natural uh, slash, we could say Carson Natural slash True Health, and I could set up a landing page and they could get this if you want to. I have a stress assessment where a person can do a simple little, it's like a 10-question stress assessment. And then I have a stress management or stress relieving guide. I call it the 7 tips to stress relief. And it's 7 simple things that a person can incorporate into their daily life to help them in managing that stress. And
Oh,
it's things that
I'd love
that
that.
I do
Yeah.
myself.
Oh, thank you so much. That's great, because everyone, like talking to the thousands of listeners, everyone can benefit from stress management. Maybe they're not stressed out right now, but learning it now is like just being prepared. Because then if
Yeah.
stress hits the fan,
Oh yeah.
you have those techniques. In times of I've had a few family members in my life die suddenly, and this obviously the stress goes through the roof. I would have liked to have had stress management techniques under my belt and have developed those habits. So like doing, even if you're not totally stressed out right now, doing the daily 10-minute meditation, going for walks, surrounding yourself
Hmm.
with people that love you and care for you, and surrounding yourself with, friends that you can rely on and talk to as, neutral parties. There's so many, like you are going to share many steps when people go to your website and get your guide. But
Hmm.
if you do it now and you set yourself up so you have that as a habit, then at times when stress all of a sudden piles on you, tax season for accountants, for example, or the
Hmm.
holidays, you will notice that you can sleep. You'll notice that you don't have the adrenal fatigue, or the mental clarity loss or the energy loss that you would have if you weren't practicing and building that as a habit. So I really do believe in that, and thank you
Yeah.
for offering that to the listeners. So that'll be that link will definitely be in the show notes of today's podcast, so that listeners can go grab your guide. Thank you so much, Phil, for coming on the show. It's been a real pleasure, staying in touch with you and seeing how you're growing. I definitely recommend listeners check out the first episode, episode 42, because you share more wonderful things as well. And
Yeah.
it's always great to learn from someone who started in more of a traditional allopathic training, and then quickly saw that there was so much more to healing. And it's great because you have a wonderful, unique perspective of being on kind of both sides of the border.
Yeah. That's right. Exactly right. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, good
Yeah.
luck with your program and building your clinic, and especially with your book. I hope it becomes a bestseller. And please stay in touch with us. I'd love to hear all the wonderful progress you have in the future and all the wonderful work that you're doing to help people regain their health.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you so much for having me on the show again, and it's been an honor. I would like to say one last thing. This is something that I close out the last chapter of my book with, and it's something that's important to me, and it may be to somebody else out there that's thinking that I'm too far gone.
Mm.
I say that it doesn't matter what your story was or what your story is. You can start a new story today. So I encourage people to do that. They're never too far gone. As long as they're still here, they've got hope.
Enjoy what you heard today on your episode of the Learn True Health podcast. Did something move you, inspire you? Did you get great information that's going to change your life? Awesome. That's exactly what I'm here to do, is to help you gain your health back. Please turn around and share this. If this is something that's helped you in any way, share this with those you love. Love the Learn True Health podcast and want to support us? Awesome. You can go to takeyoursupplements.com and you can support us that way. You'll get access to amazing supplements that are just really great quality for a great price. And there'll be someone on the other end of the line to help you pick out your supplements that are right for you. That's takeyoursupplements.com. Or join our membership, learntruehealth.com/join. That's another great way to support our podcast, support our movement, and you'll be supporting yourself. Gain more information, wonderful videos, wonderful trainings, and you'll also be able to share those with those you love as well. So go to learntruehealth.com/join. Want something fun for free? Go to learntruehealth.com, and right there on the front page, you'll see where you can get our free cookbook. I spent a lot of time making it, and it was so much fun. It's really delicious, healthy recipes. And you can also get our 7-day doctor course. Right there, it's 7 days of naturopathic videos sent right to your inbox, and you can learn from top naturopaths on how to gain health naturally. So that's takeyoursupplements.com for wonderful supplements. learntruehealth.com/join to join our awesome membership, which is only open for a limited time. You can get our free healthy cookbook, and you can also get for free 7 days of wonderful naturopathic videos sent to you. Just go to learntruehealth.com and you'll see it right there on the front page. Thank you so much for being a listener, and thank you for sharing and helping others. Let's spread this information and turn this ripple into a tidal wave.